and put the water on the top, and then wait your designated amount of time for your tea to plunge down. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this episode, we're going to be taking a look at something that's old, but it's coming back into fashion, and that's called the French press coffee maker. So stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back. In this episode, I brought home my French press coffee maker, the one that I use at work. And the reason being is at work they do have a Keurig machine. And they do have regular percolated coffee that they make, you know, in those big vats. You guys all know, working people know there's big vats of coffee all the time to keep us productive and motivated, right? But I do like sometimes to mix and match my coffee. And by that I mean, if I'm doing a K-cup or a Keurig, I get the one type of coffee and that's it. So, you know, whether it's the Dark Magic or the Nantucket blend, which I love, or the breakfast blend, you know, you put the cup in there and you do your K-cup stuff and it comes out. Each of those cups are at a minimum of 50 cents and up. 50 cents, sometimes as much as 70 cents, depending on what type of coffee that you're buying, okay? And I think the Starbucks are a little more expensive, obviously, if you get the K-cups from there. So it can add up. I mean, it's not as expensive as going to Starbucks every day and getting a coffee in the morning for, you know, $4 or $5, but it does add up. It is a little more expensive than your ground coffee is. So what I decided to do, and just because I'm on my probably second cup of coffee by the time I arrive to work. So sometimes I just want a half calf, or I want to blend it out a little bit, and I don't want it to be that potent, but I do want a little something at my desk in the morning. I went ahead and I was in Kroger. Kroger happens to have, or at least the Kroger I went to, happens to have different sizes. Now, this is the 3-cup size, and I'll show you this. This is the French press, and it's the Brazil coffee maker, and it's by Bodum, B-O-D-U-M. And they come in different sizes. This is one of the smallest ones. There might be one smaller, but I doubt it. This is the 3-cup one. And I'll show you how this all looks, so we can go ahead and, you know, I'll give you a little tour before we actually go ahead and make coffee. And we're going to be making coffee today, so don't worry about that. I'll show you exactly how to put this stuff in here. They go all the way up to making like a 12-cup or even bigger, like a carafe, and they're huge. They're huge. They're not very cheap. This one I think costs me $8 or $9, and that's the smallest one. So the larger, obviously, the French press, the more money it's going to cost. But it does, you know, it's very durable. It should last you for many, many years. It's not something that you're going to go out and buy every couple of years because the machine breaks. You know, I have been fortunate with my Keurig so far, and I've had it now for about 4 years, maybe going on a little more than that. I first got it when it was all the rage. It was like the biggest Christmas present, honestly. Everybody and their mother was giving a Keurig machine to somebody that Christmas. You could not see it. It was just all over the place. It was a huge explosion of it. But since then, you know, it's toned down. It's calmed down a bit, and other brands are making it or knocking it off. Of course, Mr. Coffee has, I think, partnered with Keurig, so they have their Mr. Coffee brand of K-cup machine makers. And there's, I think, 1 or 2 other brands, and of course there's some of the Italian brands that are coming out. I think there's one by Starbucks that makes their own K-cup, and some sort of different pods, maybe a little different pod system, but it's the same principle. You know, you put the pod in and then the water comes through it and you make your coffee. So before there was all of that, of course, my grandmother grew up, she had the espresso machine, and you've seen that if you're Italian or European. It's the top and the bottom, they're stainless steel, and they twist apart, and then you put your espresso grounds on the bottom, and then you twist the top back up and put it on a very low burn, a very low flame, and it percolates up, and it makes the most wonderful espresso coffee that you will ever in your life have. And it is more of a, I guess, the Latin background. I think maybe French do it as well, but I know Italians do it, and I know Cubans do it. I know some of the South Americans, I believe, have the same. So it's very popular in the European and South American, countries to do that. Aside from that, the French press is obviously, as its name implies, French. And what you do is, now this is kind of cool. You put your ground coffee, so you have your, and whatever it could be espresso, it can be just regular ground coffee, the type that you get at your grocery store. It does have to be kind of coarse. It can't be fine. Because it can't float through this sieve, this netting, okay, which I will show you. You put the ground coffee in here, and then what you do is you pour almost boiling water or very, very, very hot water up to, and I'll show you exactly where I do it, but up to the top, and then you basically let this steep in there for about 5, depending on how strong you want it, 5 to 7 minutes is usually what I do. And then you take this plunger, so it starts with the plunger on the top like this. Just imagine water over here. Just imagine mud. Actually, it looks like mud. You put your ground coffee on the bottom here, and then you put your water in here. Keep this on top. Do your timer for about 5 to 7 minutes, and then you plunge down very slowly. And what happens is it filters all the grounds down to the bottom, and your coffee will be on the top. And then you just go ahead and pour your coffee out into your mug or, saucer, whatever, not saucer, but, your coffee cup. And I believe you can, I haven't tried this, but I could probably look it up for you guys. But I believe that you can also do this with loose tea leaves. I don't see why you couldn't. You could put the loose tea leaves on the bottom, again, put the water on the top, and then wait your designated amount of time for your tea, and then plunge it down and have your tea. So I have not brewed tea in this, but that gives me a good idea. I might just go out and buy me some loose leaf teas and maybe do an update for you guys on this, on making tea. So that, I think that's a great idea. I think I'll do that. So anyway, I'm going to stop the video now, and I'm going to actually perform how to do this. I'm going to go into my kitchen, and I'm going to go ahead and do some water and get that boiling so that we can put it in here. So I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back here in my kitchen. Hi. I'm just going to pour. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through basically this contraption and what it is and how it looks like and what we do. And I've got my water behind me. It's starting to boil. It's just in a little pot, and I'm going to put it into this cup so you could see and measure it so I can pour it in there. But basically what we're going to do is just show you what this is. So here is the actual French press. So there is the container, and this is the plunger device. So it's got this sieve on it, if you can see, get there closer, and it's just wet because I've rinsed everything off now. And there's a little screw. I guess it could unscrew so you can take all of this apart if you really want to give it a good wash. But honestly, if you just do some soap, water, and a little brush, it's fine. And if you can see, that's the other end of it. And this is, this goes on the bottom where the grounds are, and this plunges from the top. So all of your coffee will be bubbling up from this side, okay? So this is what does the trick. And then this is almost like a bumper guard against the glass itself, so that just there's absolutely no gap between the glass and the you know, the rim of the glass and the, what am I saying, the grounds. So none of the grounds can come up and escape and get all gunky. Hold on a second, I'm gonna stop the video because I've got to stop my boiling water. Okay guys, I'm back. All right, so that's where we're at. This is the whole contraption. This is what does the magic trick. And then on the bottom here, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put, now I just know for the bottom, and this is kind of like a trick of all French presses, the ideal amount of coffee is gonna be to the rim of this black rim here. Okay, so if you go above this rim, it's way too much coffee. If you go and just put like 1 scoop in, or just flimsy, and don't cover the bottom, it's too little. Now, you know, some people like their coffee weak. I don't. I like my men and my coffee strong, as they say. So I'm going to do 2 scoops, and this scooper comes with the French press. So this is the scooper that they get. So I'm going to put 1. And it's heaping, you know, it's not flimsy, and 2. All right, and I don't know if you can see, it's a little bit less than where it should be, where the black is, but that's the way I like it. I do like it this much. You can put a little more, especially if you're doing espresso. This I know is my limit. This is the type of flavoring that I like for it. So 2 scoops in here. So we've got that in there. And then what we're going to do is simply pour the water on top of it, and then I'll show you how to put the plunger on top. So I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back. Here is the water. You see it's nice and hot, steaming, steaming, steaming. What we're going to do, and I've pre-measured this so I know that this is the amount of water that I need for this, you know, for this French press bottle here. So here we go. We're going to pour that in there. Pour it all the way in. And you do want to leave a little gap. You don't want to go all the way up to the nose of it. This is a really good amount to keep, because what you're going to do is you're going to put this plunger. See how there's that lip over here? This lip will go over here. So you just kind of put it in there like that, and that's it. You leave it up. Don't plunge it down. You leave it up. And you could stir it a little bit. In fact, let me go ahead and stir that. That's usually one of the steps that I do. Sorry, gotta grab my spoon here. So let's just take this out, and that's fine. Just take it out and then give it a good stir. And that gets all of the grounds and the water blended together really well. So there you go. So I've stirred that. Put that back in there. You see how it's steaming, piping hot. And you leave it up like that. Let it sit for about 5 minutes, you know, depending. You'll know the strength of it. The longer you let it sit, the more chance it gets, as they say, to make love to each other. So the coffee grounds and the water are now playing together and being happy together, and this is where the magic is. So we'll be back in about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to plunge it down, pour it into the mug, and you're going to see, I know you can't taste it, but you're going to see how good this is. Be right back. Hey guys, I'm back. So here we are. It's ready to pour. I have not touched it for about 5 minutes now. So what we're going to do right now is the next step is to plunge this ever so gently. You don't want to do it too quickly. You want to get it enough so that it compresses the grounds as you're pressing it down, and the water, you know, the coffee is coming to the top. So let's go ahead and do that now. So I'm going to hold this just so it doesn't spill or anything, and just do it slowly. See how slowly that is? And you can feel the pressure as you're going down into it, as this is basically scraping the sides of this carafe and plunging it all the way down and compressing the grounds. There it goes. That's to the end. I'll show you where that is. Can you see that? That's where that mesh strainer is on the bottom. That's where it ended up. And everything on the top now is beautiful coffee. Look at that. It's even got a little foam texture to the top of it. I mean, it's just absolutely gorgeous. So we're going to go ahead and pour it in here. And I just hold this down as I'm doing it. See? There we go. And it makes about 1 cup, maybe a little bit more. I could fill it all the way to the top, but I'm not going to. Let me just tilt this down a bit so you guys can see it. There we go. There's the coffee. See? And it's a beautiful rich color. I'm going to stop the video and kind of put the thing right on top here so you guys can see it. Hang on. Okay guys, so there's your coffee. Look how rich that is. That is just beautiful coffee. Can't get any better. Trust me on this, the taste is amazing. And you know, I'd probably put some cream in there and a little bit of sugar or honey and go to town. And then there's the plunger and the carafe and everything. There's a little bit on the bottom left. You know, I can add more in there if I want to. I just left it in there. And what you do is actually, to clean this, you just take this plunger thing off, and pull it up, and you can see all the muck on the bottom there. And it is hot, so just be careful, you know, let it cool down. Don't have to do it immediately. And there's the mesh as it looks like, and there's the remainder residue. So that is all just the remainder of the water, and then the grounds are in there. So you just go ahead and rinse that out with some soapy warm water, and rinse this out. Obviously, pull that back up and then rinse everything out. You can brush it with a little dish brush just to get everything out, and it's ready to go for the next time around. So I hope this made sense to you guys, and it really isn't intimidating. You know, there's no reason that you guys should feel intimidated that it's la-di-da French and you can't do it. It's really very, very simple process. Again, you know, you put your grounds in the bottom, then you percolate or boil your water, or however you want to do it. You can, for the guys that are at work, what I do is, you know, the spigot that you have next to those coffee, you know, the coffee machines where you can get warm, you know, hot water out for making soup or making your teas. That's basically what I do. I put this underneath there, and it just, you know, spigot puts it all the way up. Then you wait your, you know, keep this up. You wait your 5 to 7 minutes, depending on how, you know, strong you want it. And then obviously, you know, you plunge it down slowly, kind of like at that rate, very slowly, like that. And then you leave it like that. Okay, you leave it like that, and then, you know, all of the water and all of the coffee comes up, and then you're ready to pour it. And you just keep this down. Don't pull it back up before you pour it. If you pull it back up and you haven't poured it yet, you stand the chance of getting the grounds back up into your coffee, and it's going to be gritty. It's not going to be the same. So keep that down, keep the lid on, keep the plunger down, and then pour it. And that's it. I hope you guys try this and leave me comments below to see how you like it. And like I said, you can make your own blends, and it is cheaper than the Keurig, because obviously it's just ground coffee, and it's not going to cost you as much as the Keurig, but it's still strong, very well made coffee. So that's the whole thing, you know, getting that robust, wonderful flavor of your coffee in there and make it right. So I hope you enjoyed this, and give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. I put up videos about twice a week and on all kinds of fun subjects and health matters. So I hope you subscribe. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.